Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Hey, welcome back to the Positively You podcast. I'm Jessie, and this week's episode is so much fun. I had the best conversation with my friend Chelsey Curtis, who is one of the co-founders of Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. And I have completely fallen in love with it. I have not gone to a class in like an in-person class, but I've done a couple at home on demand using their new Dirtylicious on demand. And it is just so much fun. And Chelsey's entire personality is just the best. And I couldn't keep her to myself. I needed to get her on the podcast. We had such an amazing conversation about gaining confidence in ourselves and going after dreams, empowering not only ourselves, but other people as well. And like that whole mentality of we can all win, that abundance mentality and women supporting women. And this episode just has this huge high vibe, this empowerment, this awesome, we all win vibration to it. So you're going to walk away from today feeling just completely bright and excited and empowered and ready to just be in the world as the most confident version of yourself. Now, I also wanted to add, at the end of this episode, Chelsey was so generous and offered a 2-week free trial to every single person to be able to try Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. And then after we recorded, she upped the offer. She sent me an email and said, you know what? On second thought, let's make it a whole month. So that's right. You get to try Dirtylicious Dance Fitness for free in the comfort of your own home for one whole month. Thanks to Chelsey. I am so excited about this. And if you do it, not even if, when you do it, please tag me and we can like do the same workouts together and have fun being empowered and feeling confident and just having such a fun workout, you guys. It is so much fun. So I cannot wait to get you into this episode. Like I said, such a good conversation. Here we go. Today, I'm so excited to have my guest, Chelsey Curtis, on today. Chelsey, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like we've been trying to do this for a few weeks and it like COVID and all the crazy things. I'm just so happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, right? We're both here and we both can talk and have voices.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I am so excited to talk to you today. I got to know you at a fantastic night of networking where I got to meet a lot of amazing women, but your story really did touch me. And I was like, I have to get Chelsey on here to get on and to talk about this, because if you lit me up this much, I can't keep it to myself and I have to share. So thank you in advance for coming on, but do you want to just introduce yourself so everyone can know who you are before we get chatting?
Yes, of course. And what a gracious and kind thing to say. Thank you so much. So my name is Chelsey Curtis. My background is in event planning, and I've been an event planner professionally for the past 10 years. And through that venture, I've been able to do one of my favorite passions, in addition to helping hundreds of clients throw women's only dance parties. And so actually it was before COVID in 2019 that I met my now business partner at one of these dance parties. And it's kind of funny. Have you ever felt like you're pursuing things because you're trying to manifest that more in your life? Like you're not necessarily the expert at it yet, but you like really want to be good at this thing. And so you're pursuing it, even though you're like, I don't know the answers. I don't know how it's going to come together. I just know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's kind of how dance parties were for me. And until I met her and saw, and the business is Dirtylicious Dance Fitness, before everyone's like, what is this business? Who is this partner? Before I met her and met these amazing women from this fitness class that we've been able to build, I remember looking at them thinking like, wow, these women are so confident. And it's not just like, you know how sometimes when you go clubbing, you're like, oh, that girl's like super sexy. She's feeling herself, whatever. It wasn't like that. I was seeing something that I was like, I want to manifest that. Like, I want to be able to dance in an all women's only group and just like be so into it, confident and feeling like this missing piece of my life is there. And that's kind of what happened and how it all started. So I'm an entrepreneur, to answer your question, and I'm a co-founder of Dirtylicious Dance Fitness, which is a sexy dance fitness class, kind of similar to Dirty Dancing and things like that people have heard. And so, yeah, that's me.
Awesome. I love that so much. And I love that you were doing this thing where you're like, I'm supposed to be here. This is where I'm supposed to be. Because so often in life, right, we're like pursuing what we think we need to be pursuing, but it might just be a stepping stone for something else. Or we're totally like in the fake it till you make it thing, just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a professional, but everyone thinks I'm the professional. So here we are. And I love that because I never got the vibe from you that you didn't know what you were doing. So you had me fooled.
That is a nice thing to say. Yeah. Even if you go to school and you have a degree in the thing you want to do, which most of us do not, by the way, most of us are doing things we did not go to school for. And our degree is completely different than what we're pursuing right now. And it's okay. I think it's okay to normalize that fake it till you make it, or, that it's really 10,000 hours to be an expert. So just keep going toward the thing you want to do and you'll get there. And have you ever heard that analogy? Like, it's your first day on campus and you don't know where to go. And would you rather ask like the dean of the school, hey, where do I go for my next class? Or would you rather ask somebody who's maybe like a grade or two ahead of you? You'd rather ask the person who's like a grade or two ahead of you, right? So a lot of times as women, we kind of like shrink down. We're like, oh, I'm not the expert, or I'm not like the dean of like this thing, whatever, for our analogy purposes. But the truth is, if you're further along than someone else, that's typically more comfortable for somebody to learn from you. And they're going to feel more connected to you and you're going to be more approachable than somebody who's like on this pedestal because they've made it and they are the end all be all of that industry,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love a good analogy. And that one is so perfect because it's true. So often we think, well, I can't do that yet. Like, I can't embrace my gifts or my talents because all of us have them. Right. But we have to like wait till we have the certificate or the degree or just like XYZ until we're the expert or the dean in this analogy. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that so much, saying like, no, you have to be one grade ahead, two steps ahead. And there are people that you can empower and lead. And I love that so much. And seeing you step into that is really cool. So I want to dive into, you said you wanted to manifest that confidence that you saw in these women. And that is like the gateway to Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. So what is Dirtylicious Dance Fitness, first of all?
So Dirtylicious is a fun and sexy dance fitness class, kind of like a cardio class that teaches people who come how to feel more confident through real dance and sexy choreography. So unlike a fitness class that's dance fitness where you're bouncing around continuously for 1 hour nonstop, I'm sure you've been to fitness classes like that where the music is just going. Yes. And it's like going. We actually have our instructors on microphones, like the little headsets, like Britney Spears style. And they actually teach you choreography like a professional choreography class. And it was something I had never had any experience to until I met my business partner and we started traveling together. And I actually have taken choreography classes from professionals. And I never danced before, like Dirtylicious is my introduction to the dance world and to this whole confidence place with dance. It is very empowering to know the difference of like, if you're doing a move in the mirror and it just doesn't look right, it's probably because you don't know the simplest little finesse things that dancers know, like, oh, pull your shoulders back. If you pull your shoulders back, every single dance move looks so much better. Other things like eye contact. If you're dancing and you're like looking at the floor, it doesn't really hit the same as if I'm dancing and I'm like looking at you, you know what I mean? So these are the things that we try to master in a Dirtylicious class. It's not for the professional dancer, which we have them come all the time to classes. It's not taught and geared toward the professional dancer who's been dancing their whole life. It's for me. It's for the person who has never danced before, who wants to learn step-by-step instructions in counts of 8 and then put it to music. And you get to do, you dance with your group that we put you in the class. And then you leave with this, 30 to 45 second choreography to a top 40 song. And you just are like, man, that was really empowering. Like I did that. And as much as it is a cardio class, I feel like actual choreography steps that you're learning is way more of a mental workout. Like,
Yes.
what was next?
100%.
Like you're in there like, okay. And then, oh yeah. And then this, and then this. Okay. I got it. But it's been really, really fun to kind of mesh those two worlds because did you grow up dancing by chance?
I did.
Okay. So
I'm not amazing.
I did not, but I had no idea. I had no idea, Jesse, that it is so ruthless competitive, like cutthroat, very competitive. So I can't speak to that, but my business partner who went to ballet conservatory for 15 years and has danced, pretty much 20 years of her life. It's like, oh no, this is like a thing. It is very cutthroat. It is very competitive. It is very like, you have to be in these certain circles. And so unintentionally, I'm just like, it's so great. And we're all kumbaya and like twerking together. And we are, which is just not typical for the dance world. You know what I mean? And so I think that's why people like dance fitness as a fitness format, because it's fun and you do it with your girlfriends. It's not competitive. And that is why we have been so successful with Dirtylicious for the same reasons. Cause you don't have to be 18 years old in college to whip your hair around and feel sexy. Like you can be like me and be a mom with 2 kids and go have your 8 p.m. workout class and be like, man, I just feel like me. No one is climbing on me. No one is talking to me, asking me for a bottle. Like I just get to go and be me, and for nobody else, because there's no performances or no recitals or anything. It's just for me. We need that. That's like the true self-care that is the mission of Dirtylicious. And truly the piece that I think is missing in all of this empowerment talk that we hear, self-love talk, empowerment talk, it's like, be positive, love yourself, accept yourself. But then if you don't have the how, sometimes it's like, it feels so disingenuous. You're like, that's a lie. I can't just like keep doing the same things I'm doing and expect something to change.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like any journey or anything else, right? It's all, you have to be working towards something. And I think when you learn those little things, like even just like the posture thing, that helps me on a daily basis. Here we are on this podcast and you're videoing for those who are going to watch this video. And I'm like, oh yeah, posture. Don't I look so much better?
Posture, let's all stand up.
Right. We're just like, oh, we look so much more put together. So yeah, in a long-winded response, that really is like my whole heart and the whole purpose of what we are trying to do with Dirtylicious. And we always love to say, Dirtylicious, it's not as dirty as it sounds, because some people, they confuse it with like pole dancing. Hello, mad respect for pole dancers. That is really hard, really, really hard physically. Like pole dancing is very hard. We're not pole dancing. We're also not taking off our clothes. So like a strip dance or a strip tease class, we're not that either. So you come in like your athletic wear and you just learn how to dance. And we happen to do things that you do in other formats like twerking and body rolling and whipping your hair around,
Yes. Okay. I love so many things that you just mentioned, starting with what you just said about how it's not as dirty as it sounds. Cause I'm sure you get that all the time, right? Like, I don't want to come pole dance. I don't want to come strip. I don't want to do these things. And so it's not that, it's for you. And like you said, I am here for the body empowerment and the self-love conversations that we're having so much more of. But like you said, it's like, love yourself, say your affirmations, all good things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, sometimes you need more of that action. It's like, I can only repeat, I am beautiful in the mirror so many times. Right.
Right. Well, let me tell you, I grew up in a very Christian household where wearing a sleeveless shirt was inappropriate and like sexualizing your body. Okay. So like meet me at this place. Okay. So any sort of provocative dancing, any sort of provocative music, or even suggestive was completely like forbidden is the only way to say it. Okay. So obviously like you go through your life, and I understand wanting to have, morals or wanting to, have like more of like a chaste, pure life. Like I understand that as a concept. Great. If you want to do that, great. But then what happens is if you're raised that way, sometimes when you get married and you are exposed to like more of a sexual nature or just like sensuality or just like, again, confidence or thinking that your body is okay, even to the just core of the issue, just saying my body is okay, or it can do good things, was a concept I was completely unfamiliar with, because it was like, no, your body equals shame. Right. So many women, it's like, I say this and I feel like I'm the only one, but so many women on some level are like, no. Like, even though they weren't raised in that strict of a household, they feel that. And I'll never compare. I'll never look like what I see in the magazines, which we all know is airbrush and fake. And we're so grateful that that's a movement now. But I was in my first Dirtylicious class before it was even Dirtylicious, before we were business partners. And I was, going through the class, and here she is, the instructor, it's my business partner, is finessing the class, and she's finessing me, but she's, finessing everybody. And I'm like, oh, have my shoulders up. And she taught me how to do a hair whip, where your hair is down and then you whip it back. And she talked about momentum, because I was like the girl from The Ring coming up slowly and my hair was like this. I'm like, all in my
100% me.
I'm like, this is not sexy. Like, why am I in this class? Having all this negative self-talk. And so she's like, no, you got to go down. So you go really far down. And then I whip my hair. And I had this moment where I just saw my hair make this like wave in the mirror, and it did the thing, and it came back and it flowed. I have really long hair. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looked really good. Like, it was the first time in my life that I saw myself and thought, wow, you looked good in the like real body positivity way that we hear about all the time. Like, I identified something good about my body, and it almost brought me to tears, because I was like, this is so ridiculous. I just whipped my hair. Like, I'm not going to use this. This isn't practical. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm going to do this at the grocery store, drop a pen, like,
yes.
Like it seemed so ridiculous, but it filled that cup that had been so drained and dry. It just filled it, where it just added a little bit. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is what it is. And I could not stop thinking about this class after that. Like, it changed my life so dramatically. I went home and was like, honey, my husband, Nick, I'm like, look what I learned. Cause I'm like, we have 2 kids. Like, obviously, like, we have a relationship, but it's like, I'm always the awkward, like, turn off the lights. I don't know what to do with my hands. Right. And I come home and I'm like, look at this. He's like, I don't know what this class is, but please go back. It was amazing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And again, that's just me adding the application in a totally different way that we don't teach in class, but it's just those little things of like how to feel sexy. And my friends, like, especially my long-haired friends, if you've never done a hair whip and like looked at yourself in the mirror, so you're a dancer, like those fun little things. But if you've never done that, it is seriously life-changing. It's one of those things that you're like, my body can do good things. And I have to tell you, that hair whip, this is a part you probably don't know about me, Jessie, but that hair whip happened after I was 3 months postpartum. So I was like 75 pounds heavier than I am normally. And I am somebody that's fluctuated with my weight a lot over the course of my life, with pregnancies and stress and college. And every single time, it does not matter how low the number on the scale is. I've never, ever thought it was good enough, ever.
Yeah.
And again, here I am in this class 3 months postpartum, when I still have like my mommy tummy, like bulging over my yoga pants, like the whole thing, And I again, it's just one of those things that's touched me so much. I could go on and on and on about it forever. I'm like, you're going to have to just cut me off at some point and be like, okay, we get it. The hair whip is great. Moving on.
No, that's what I love. I can feel that coming out of you. And that is that like energy and that feeling that is exactly why you leaned in and you are getting this out to more and more women, because once you feel that, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to feel this more. And everybody needs to feel this. And it's silly. Like you said, you're like, it was a hair whip. Like, what?
I know.
And you don't know what it'll be for someone else. It might be like a way that they roll over on the floor or like something, and where you just catch yourself. And it's, you just kind of come home to yourself. And like you said, for you, you went home and you were like, guess what I learned? But it wasn't that you were like, oh, my husband's going to love this. Like, you felt good.
100% for me. And I think I'm really lucky to be married to my very best friend, who's just like my cheerleader. Like, I come home with the craziest of ideas all the time. And he's like, let's do it. Great. Let's do it. Like businesses, or, we should do this, or we should travel here. We should do that. And he's always just like, yeah, girl, let's do it. I'm like, okay. So, to have like, maybe for you, it's not your partner. Maybe it's like a best friend or your mom or somebody. Like, I don't have that kind of relationship with my mom, but some people do. And like, they bring their mom and then they come to the class. And it's the most amazing thing for me to see a mom in her 60s and a daughter in her 30s rolling their bodies in unison to Justin Bieber. I'm like, what is this like? Like, this is amazing, And you have that connection. Like, where would you be able to do that with your mom or your best friend or your girlfriends or your just whoever? When would you be able to do that?
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I love so much that this is a thing and that it's growing, and seeing your growth is inspiring, because it shows that it's something that is so needed. Like, every time I see a video pop up or a reel or just some post from Dirtylicious or any of your instructors, I'm like, when is the next class? When is the next workshop? When can I go? Because it's just that escape. Do you have 2 kids?
I do.
I have 3 kids. Like, I get it. We've got the kids climbing all over us. We've got the just everyone needs us. We've got like so much mental junk going on that what we're carrying. And so to be able to leave and to just be completely in your body and feel good. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So good. And it is a real workout. It's hard. Like all twerking burns calories. I'm like, it as provocative or dirty like as it gets, it is a workout. It's hard. And I really love that dance, no matter what style it is. Like if you find a dance fitness that fills your cup, like just go and do it. Like cardio and those other types of fitness formats are so needed, especially where I didn't really have a good fitness background. And so having that person there to guide me, hold my hand, take me through the class is exactly what I need. And it gives me that very extroverted personality, that energy that I have been craving in a fitness class for so long. And I think it's just one of those things that I'm so proud and so grateful. And thank you again for the kind words and the compliments. But in all honesty, man, it is hard. It is hard to grow a dance fitness business. It is hard for people that don't understand to say, you're a terrible person. You are promoting that women be strippers and things. It's like, have you been to the class? Oh, yeah, maybe you should come and then tell me what you think,
Yes.
But I'm so grateful for anyone who will hear us out and listen, because like I said, when you're not, I guess, like in something, sometimes from the outside, you have your own perception. And then when you're actually in it, you're kind of like desensitized or immune. Like to me, dirty is not a bad word. I'm like, oh yeah, dirty means sexy, like a dirty dancing class, But it's been interesting. It's been such an interesting journey to learn about branding and business and marketing and perceptions and to have those conversations. And I guess in a way, like there are times where you do feel like when people don't understand your dream or what you're trying to build, and they shoot it down, whether or not they disagree with it. Sometimes it's just like, oh, who are you to do that? You know what I mean? Why you?
Yeah.
You just have to remember that they don't understand what it is you're building. And most of the time, they have no experience either. And so even if you're pursuing something and it's brand new, the naysayers are always going to be there and they're going through their own thing. And so a lot of times it's like, okay, I'm not going to internalize this. I'm just going to say if they've been to a class and it's not their cup of tea, that's totally fine. But if they've never been or they've never participated in what dream I'm building, I'm not going to put that much stock into what they're saying because they don't really understand, bless and release. And that's kind of like the model that's got us through some of the hard times. But thank you for, again, being so kind and gracious and positive. Cause I'm like, wow, if there were more Jessies in the world, let me tell you.
Oh gosh. That would be a world, let me tell you. Well, and I like what you're saying here with the confidence to keep going and to keep building, because a lot of us have, dreams or desires or things that we want to do. And I think it just morphs perfectly into each other, where you're at a class, you're feeling good, you're feeling confident about yourself. And then how you can take that confidence and that power that you feel and apply that to other areas of your life. For you, that's in entrepreneurship and in pursuing a business and building this out more. But for someone else who might come and feel good and feel connected to your body and then feel connected to your purpose and then feel powerful, right? You can take that and it's going to pour into all other areas of your life where you're able to say, bless and release, right? You're able to take the judgments from other people who might not understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, because you've got that confidence now in yourself. And I think that is incredibly powerful.
Yes. Well, and I think it's important to recognize that there is really no such thing as an overnight success. There really isn't. And when you see somebody doing something and they're successful, just know they've probably been doing it for a long time. And once you kind of like get into a groove and you've had some success under your belt, I think the next one's easier because you've already learned from the mistakes that you're never going to make again. But if there's any message I could say to women in business or women who have a dream, is just don't give up. Keep going. I mean, I started my event planning like blog, 10 years ago. And there were some women that I looked up to when I started, thinking, man, I wish I could be like them, who aren't even doing it anymore, who literally just like gave up because they couldn't figure it out. They got, disconnected from their goals or made bad business decisions or whatever, maybe they got burnt out even. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm still going. And I think even if you're moving slowly and you're moving forward, it's better than being stagnant and not moving at all. So a lot of times it's just this positive self-talk of like having grace, surrounding yourself with doers, which is one of the things I love about how we met at a networking party for other like-minded women. And that's the secret, is surround yourself with people who fill your cup, because we all go through that. Couldn't you relate to that? That you have days where you're like, what am I doing? Why am I still, this is too hard. It should be this hard, but it just is.
Yes.
I think if it's hard and you're failing, that means that you're doing something. And if you keep hitting your head against the same wall, find a coach, find a mentor, listen to podcasts, open a book, like there's so many answers and so many ways to get support in person, through education, even YouTube videos. It's amazing. And again, going back to those naysayers, if you are surrounding yourself with people who are constantly putting you down and constantly saying, this is going to work and you're a failure, blah, 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 you need some new friends, girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, let me be one of those friends to be like, hey, let me tell you something about having a hard go and people judging you and telling you that you're doing something that they disagree with. We live in the most amazing time right now where you can literally be from any background, have any sort of like education degree, whatever you want. And it does not even matter if you're willing to learn and put in the work and the sweat equity. You can find your people and build pretty much whatever you want to build. And that's the thing I've learned about so many women that I just am so inspired by. I'm like, okay, if she could do it, I could do it. Because there's somebody out there who's got it way harder than you, who had way bigger obstacles than you. And you just have to remember, you know what? It's just, it's going to be a test of persistent and consistency, not just being an instant overnight success. Cause that's just, I think we need to just get away from that. It's not, I think there are those, but they're very far and few between.
Very far and few in between. And even the ones that there are, when you dig deeper, there's so much more. Yeah. But I love, this conversation about confidence and about like surrounding yourself with those people, because as soon as you step in and you start forming those friendships and forming those relationships, you do get to see the ups and downs and the failures and the setbacks. And it brings everyone kind of not to a level playing field, but it just opens everybody up to where I get to now support you. You get to support me. And that's where your confidence grows as well. It comes in the doing. Like we can sit back and do the scroll thing and judge all day long and woe is me and complain. But really, it's when you take that action and you surround yourself with good people, you do things for yourself, and you try. And like you said, you build that proof. You start somewhere and you find something that's successful, and then you just keep building.
Yes, I love it. And I think one thing that we don't really talk about, I don't hear about it a lot, but it's very real. And I think it starts in like junior high, is the women not supporting other women. And this mentality of like, there's not enough. It's a scarcity mentality. There's not enough for all of us to be successful. And that is one of the biggest differences in men and women that I've seen in business, is that men are super collaborative. Like if you go to a men's networking event or one where there's more men, they're always like, hey, who do you know? Who can I connect you with? Always, always. And I loved that at that networking event that we went to together, that was the vibe, is like, how can we look at each other and say, what can I do for you? Versus, I don't know, what can you do for me? Which is very, I don't know why most of the time women in business are that way. I know that you know what I'm talking about, but being more collaborative with your time, being more collaborative with your talents, I promise you, it comes back 100-fold, because the people that I've helped and served, they always treat me so much better than the ones who are like, well, I don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we'll see. Like I'm too big for you, or you're too small for me, or this little game that we play. Everybody is 7 degrees away from somebody else. And I know that if you think about business collaboratively, I'm not saying like if you get burned and somebody is not a good collaborator or not a good networking friend, to keep nurturing a bad relationship, but nurture the ones that do well and try to be collaborative and be that connector. And you would be surprised. There's so much value in having very good relationships and having that big, notebook of names of people that because you never know when you can help somebody or when that somebody can help you. And so to any women entrepreneurs listening, I just like want to say it again for the people in the back, be collaborative, be generous with your time and talents, and mentor people. If you have the opportunity, if you have the time and the means, it's one of the best ways to give back. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes those little people, they come and they surpass you and you're like, hey, remember me? And it's a beautiful thing because it's nothing is permanent. You know what I mean? Nothing's permanent. Things are changing all the time and life happens. And you just never know what's going to happen. So be good to people and give and serve in the way that you can. That's why, are there too many podcasts? No, because everybody has a different voice and a different way that they would do something and the different way that they would share, So yes. I just am for abundance mentality all the way. There's more than enough for everyone to go around and then some.
Absolutely. And I love that abundance mentality because the world just becomes so much brighter and like your inner circle, like becomes wider and wider and wider. And the world, everything becomes brighter and so much more exciting. And like the little petty things just kind of get to roll off because you're living such an elevated, confident, full life. And that is what I love. And that's what I love so much about what you're putting out into the world, because you're doing it with Dirtylicious Dance Fitness, but you're doing it also by empowering women to go for it. Like You are awesome. You are confident. Believe in yourself. Let's do this. I'll pull you along. You pull me along. Just women power all the way. And I am so here for it.
I love it. Well, yeah. And I mean, it is a huge part of our business because we're not only serving the people who come to class, but obviously we have over 70 instructors in all of North America in 9 different states right now. And it's growing. And these women are building their own business and they are creating their own little communities. And how sad would it be for me to say, well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Like I've started a business that was a little controversial and a little bit difficult. And why wouldn't I link arms and say, hey, let me help you with that? Whether or not you're part of my organization, you know what I mean? Like, let me help you with that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really take that much time. It's not like you're necessarily having to go into these people's businesses and spend all this time and fix it. Sometimes it's just like being helpful or collaborative or connecting, that's it. It's really not as hard or time consuming as a lot of us think. And I don't know if you've had that experience where you've had people help you and there was really no reason for them to help you, but then it made you want to be more generous and help somebody else who was kind of coming up through the ranks.
Absolutely. I can count many, many times that's happened. And it's awesome because it strengthens those relationships too, because it isn't like a, what's in it for me. It's a abundance mentality. Like you said, they see that they're not needing to hoard their knowledge or their resources from me. And then in turn, I'm like, wow, okay, how can I pay that forward? And again, Absolutely. It just makes everything just so much better. So I love that Dirtylicious is growing. Where can people go if they're like, okay, yeah, hi, I need to learn this hair flip because I want to feel that amazingness?
Please come learn it. So one of my little projects that I was super passionate about during COVID was that we started filming Dirtylicious on demand. So anybody who has internet access can actually go. I'll give you the link. We can put it in the show notes if that's okay, where they can go try Dirtylicious on demand for 2 weeks for free in our 2-week free trial. And we have a library of dozens of combos that you can choose from, and you choose like your favorite hit song and you get to just learn in the comfort of your home, which most people are like, oh, good, I don't have to go in public, and they love it, and then what always happens is if they fall in love with the format, of course, they're like, we're going to get a class in my area. And so many of our out-of-state instructors, that is their story, is they started on demand and they're like, hey, I want to do this with my girlfriends. My basement's not big enough, Got to go open and do a gym class now. But that's going to be the best way, is dirtyliciousdancefitness.com. Again, anybody who wants to try the 2-week free trial, I would encourage you to try it. No strings attached. You can cancel anytime. And find us on Instagram or social media at Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. Or if you would like to follow me personally, I'm at Chelsey.Curtis on Instagram as well.
Perfect. And I have all of that linked in the show notes. But for reals, the Dirtylicious on demand, like, if you follow me on Instagram, anyone who's listening, you know that I'm always working out in my basement. I'm usually lifting weights. What you don't know is that in between sets, if a song comes on that I know some choreography to, I am totally dancing in my basement as well. So it's like deadlift and then like hair flip and then like,
Yes.
and it is, and it makes my workouts so much more fun. And I just feel really good. I'm already down there working out and feeling good, but it's so fun. So do the 2-week free trial because you will be addicted, and it's just a blast. And I love that you didn't get in your own way, that you pushed through, that you didn't listen to naysayers, and that you're bringing this empowering workout to more and more women. I'm just thrilled that that's what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. That's so nice. And this has been so fun. I'm like, oh, when can we do it again, Chelsey? When are we doing this again?
Yes, absolutely. We will 100% do it again. And I think we should get some things in the works. Sneak peek. Thanks for coming on, Chels.
Yeah, my pleasure. We'll see ya.
Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.